Obama, which should not surprise anyone, and the flu virus H1N1, which was all the rage last year. Well, a year later, different words have entered our vernacular, among them spillcam. As a result of the BP oil spill, most of us remember that awful plume of oil just coming out in the ocean. Vuvuzela. This is an interesting one. This was because of the World Cup and these very long, annoying horns that were played that were actually banned by the World Cup. But that has also entered our vernacular. Here's one. Refudiate. Do you remember Sarah Palin invented this word, which was a combination of refute and repudiate? Well, it has found its way into the list, along with Chilean coal miners, along with the word snowmageddon. Most of us here living in D.C. remember snowmageddon last year from the 4 feet of snow that apparently fell here. Anger and rage was the top phrase that of 2010, which I thought was kind of indicative of our economy and about voters and voter sentiment. And as you might expect, and actually I was a little surprised by this, Obamania. Mr. President Obama, in any of the words that come out of his last name, actually fell to 10th place this year, which means it kind of correlates to his popularity right now. He's not doing so well, and consequently, his name has not appeared in the top 10 list of words for 2010.
Add another word. It's called Bharatberry. Not blackberry, Bharatberry. You know, in India, they're having a problem with blackberries because the government cannot monitor all the emails that come in because, you know, they went through 2611 and they want to make sure that no terrorists are in their town working with the BlackBerry. They need to be able to intercept it. So in comes the biggest company of India, Infosys. They have come up with a software that the government can monitor, and they're calling it Bharatberry. It's actually a software program that you can download, and no one will bother you. Your Bharatberry is going to be safe.
So let me guess, Bharatberry actually works with BlackBerry's proprietary software.
It's like BlackBerry, only in India you need Bharatberry.
In order to be transparent to the government. You know, it's easy to understand why. India went through a terrible series of terrorist attacks, and governments, if they need access, they need access. It's not...
But let me ask you a question. So how do you police that? The equipment looks the same, you know, same BlackBerry folks. It has a Bharatberry software. How are you going to police that?
At the end of the day, you have to connect to some network in the sky, right, for that all to work. And quite frankly, this has to be an agreement between the company, Research in Motion, and the government of India, which is really where this has gotten hung up before. But in this case, I think communication needs to have some degree of transparency so that we can protect ourselves.
Another one. Everybody knows the word H-1B. Now you got to remember H-2B.
Oh, I haven't heard that one.
H-2B is a visa, folks, that is given to the people who are not in the agriculture business, and they are sort of temp workers. They come in for the summer and the others. So, you know, they work in Ocean City or work in the hotels and motels and the others. Lately, they have come up with a scam. People are importing H-2B workers like crazy. They're charging them $20,000 to come in town. And then they overstay and so on and so forth and the other things. H-2B is a visa scam that they have just now discovered. That is one word you will be listening to in the coming years.
Well, folks, if you follow celebritology, there's two names in the news that caught my eye. One, Mr. Kal Penn. You remember him? He was here for a little bit of time serving under the Obama administration, and then he quickly left town too. Well, he's apparently coming back. The former star of the stoner flick franchise, Harold and Kumar, as of this week has been rehired as the Associate Director of ABC News Reports. He will be starting here work on Monday, so maybe we'll get to see him around town. He'll be a familiar face back here in Washington, D.C. for us. And Miss Pamela Anderson will be a familiar face in India. She is going to star in the Indian equivalent of the Big Brother series. You know, there's a show here called Big Brother. Well, India has its own equivalent of it. And starting next year, she will join a former woman bandit, some models and TV actors for the Indian equivalent of this show, which is hosted by Bollywood star Salman Khan. And of course, the hope is that she will prove a ratings booster for the show, which is now in its 4th season. By the way, Baywatch was a phenomenon that ran from 1992 to 1997. She was by far the standout. And in fact, the show was recognized by the Guinness World Records as the most watched TV series in history, with an estimated weekly audience of 1.1 billion at its peak. You know, I bet you she could stuff $80,000 into her bra.